Hi everyone, we are WYLD Spokane. My name is Devin Smith and I worked on recruitment and selection.
My name is Anton Easterbrook. I worked on compensation and benefits and safety, stress, and wellness.
My name is Cooper McCoy and I worked on training and development.
My name is Dana Earl and I worked on strategy.
My name is Callie Wagner and I worked on job design and performance evaluation.
Let's go wild! So in terms of who we are, WYLD Spokane is a local nonprofit organization that is focused on offering youth educational excursions into the outdoors. And the main benefits that we are providing is that we are offering a safe platform for children to experience the outdoors. We are aiding their development in their leadership skills, as well as providing healthy opportunities of children for busy parents.
Here at WYLD Spokane, we have one main vision in mind. That's being wild. This stands for wilderness. We want our kids to be able to experience the outdoors in a safe manner. For the youth, we want kids of all ages and all different socioeconomic classes to be able to participate in our programs. In terms of leadership, we want them to develop their skills, have mentors, and understand what leadership means moving forward. In terms of development, we want to provide a safe learning space for them to grow and experience childhood in a safe manner.
The way that we are looking to achieve our vision for our company is by means of our mission statement, which is living up to the ideas that we are a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting holistic leadership and self-discovery opportunities to the youth of Spokane by means of guided outdoor excursions where leadership theory will be taught and applied.
We've decided to pick a location at 666 North Evergreen Road, and this is between Spokane Valley and the South Hill area. We believe that having this location will allow us to offer communities in both areas all around Spokane our services.
So we positioned ourselves to meet the needs of people who wouldn't traditionally have a chance to experience the summer camp lifestyle. What we do is we offer the same thing condensed into a single weekend or afternoon. We focus on people who are at risk, so maybe potentially involved in dangerous activities. Why we do it? There really isn't anyone in Spokane who is giving that experience. There's a lot of people who offer a long-term, expensive summer camp program. What we do is we offer something that's shorter, more flexible, and easier to manage. So being in the Pacific Northwest, we're not the only people to think about offering tours up. We've got a lot of great examples here. The Campfire USA of the Inland Northwest. They also offer a flexible camp experience. Not only do they give the full-time summer camp program, but they'll also organize events around weekends or afternoons. Sort of how we're different than them is we're a lot smaller and focused on meeting the kids in the area, meeting them where they stand. They're a very large organization with thousands of members. They're headquartered in Kansas, so they won't be able to give you that individual attention. And then, rolling down, we've got a lot of people who offer more recreational programs like the Inland Empire Tours, Outward Bound, Row Adventures. These guys are more focused around giving you a fun time. They're expensive for one. They don't really focus on skill building or leadership building, but some could consider them substitutions. And then we've got Peak 7 here. They're also a really good program. They focus more on faith-based activities, whereas we're mostly on interpersonal skills. And of course, you can always send your children to an after-school program like the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, 4-H. There's a lot of really good options there. Really, how we stand apart from all of that is, in addition to giving children a chance to experience the majesty of the outdoors, we also really focus on building those leadership skills. We've got a lot of small amount of guides and a small amount of people, and that's where we shine. And as diligent investors, we've made sure to prepare a SWOT analysis for you so you can make an informed buy decision. With our strengths, we are a very flexible company. We organize our structure around meeting the needs of the people that we're really targeting. We are targeting people who may not have a whole lot of income to throw around, people who are busy, work long hours, don't have the time to manage long summer camp programs or deal with a lot of those hassles. So what we do is we work with people's schedules by running a small, lean, flexible, low-cost operation. This is really how we'll cement ourselves within our market. And as far as weaknesses go, there are some weaknesses inherent to that structure. Having a smaller size group does limit our revenue. I'll just admit that. We've really worked around that. We have a smaller group, a lean operation. We have low costs, not a whole lot of people around. We choose to be small because we want to meet the needs of the people and give them the attention that they need. As far as opportunities go, we're in the Pacific Northwest in Spokane. We're positioned around a lot of wonderful geographic areas and nature reserves. We've got the Dishman-Mica Hills. We've got the Turnbull Wildlife Refuge. We've got many more. And they're all at low cost, which means all we would need is just a van, some backpacks, some food, and we'd really be able to give people that experience. So our primary threat is the availability of nature. Having all of these resources around, some may say that these same families could just experience it on their own. What we say to that is those same families that we're targeting, our group, they are very limited as far as time goes and budget goes. What we offer is an experience to meet them halfway, to be able to help them organize around their schedule while we provide the means of transportation and managing of their children. So what you see right here is our business structure. It's all based around empowering the guides and helping them build connections with the youth participants. The primary employee here would be the guide. They are in charge of interfacing with the youth participants. They help plan the events with the project leaders, and mostly what they do is they lead the events. And they offer emotional support to the children. They give them chances to perform leadership activities. They are really in charge of all the connections that happen between here and here. The project leaders help empower the guides and give them the budgets, the resources, the access to vehicles to make all of this happen. They're really the brain behind the activities. Accounting and payroll, they take care of our back office events, and then marketing and outreach make sure that we have youth participants.
Hi, my name is Callie Wagner, and I'm in charge of the job design for our organization. And the central job and employee position of our organization is the WYLD Guide, and this is an acronym for Wilderness Youth Leadership Development, as our mission states, and then Guide stands for Group Youth Development Employee. And I'm just going to read off the board. So our job description for this position is to conduct recreational activities, outdoor excursions, and guided trips with groups of children in the wilderness setting. They must be able to communicate leadership clearly and concisely, have a passion for educating and mentoring the youth, as well as a love for the outdoors. So we believe the essential KSAOs for this position to be safety and security, customer service, social perceptiveness, coordination, problem sensitivity, and dependability. So some of the knowledge that we want our employees to have for this position would be a proficiency in the English language, like being well versed in public and safety and security. Customer and personal service is very important to our organization as well. And as far as education and training goes, we want them to have a basic outdoor certification and experience to back that up. We want them to be a first responder and be certified in first aid as well, and have a proficiency in comprehension of outdoor and wilderness-oriented tasks. And this knowledge proves to be important as it is integral to the success and integrity of our program. So as far as skills and abilities go, ones that are very important to us as an organization are social perceptiveness and problem sensitivity. These skills provide and foster an inclusive environment to a variety of children from various backgrounds and home lives. As a WYLD Guide, we want you to be technically proficient, but what we're really searching for in an employee is an individual who encompasses the values of leadership and social responsibility. So for our central job, the WYLD Guide, our 4 essential tasks that we thought were extremely imperative to the position are enforcing rules and regulations of recreational facilities to maintain discipline and ensure safety, because that is our #1 priority. We wanted them to be able to organize, lead, and promote interest in recreational outdoor activities. We believe that they need to assess the needs and interests of individuals in the groups, and plan activities and coordinate excursions accordingly, given the available equipment and ability of the group. And the last thing that we thought was extremely important was the ability to administer first aid, obviously, accordingly to prescribe procedures and to notify emergency medical personnel when necessary. And lastly, when we're thinking about job design, we decided on a motivational approach because we believe that as an organization, we should continuously be pushing our employees to do more in different capacities. So like for task identification, we're making sure that our employees, our WYLD guides, are like well versed in a variety of activities, so they're not doing the same thing over and over every day. And with all of the different excursions that we will be doing, it will be good like for them to know like exactly what is expected of them in that role or position. Task significance, like why is this job important? We want our employees to recognize that they are not only a tour guide or not only like a group leader, but that they are like a source of safety and like confidentiality for children who may be at risk. And as far as task variety, I kind of touched on that before, but we're wanting to provide training so our employees can like perform in a plethora of different roles as well.
Hi everyone, I'm Devin and I'm going to be talking about recruitment and selection. So we are looking to have an applicant pool with people who are recent college graduates or current college students who have a really high passion for the outdoors. These people love to work with children and they are probably studying leadership theory, education, psychology, sociology, or environmental studies because it's really important that they have an educational background in what it is we're going into. They will have 1 to 2 years of experience in outdoor trip leading, as well as their wilderness first aid certification and their first responder certification, just to make sure that they are certified in the different sort of necessary safety precautions that we need. We're hoping to have an applicant pool of about 10 to 15 people. This is going to allow us to have a really large selection and diverse applicant pool that will allow for not only different personality traits, but also different skill sets that can help fulfill the position. We're going to use a variety of different sources to recruit our candidates. So first of all, we're going to use the local newspapers such as the Spokesman Review because this is going to help us reach a really broad population here in Spokane with an interest in the outdoors and a passion for working with children. We're also going to recruit in local university newspapers such as Gonzaga and Whitworth University because these will reach those recent college graduates or soon-to-be college graduates with previous trip leading experience. We will also use different applications such as Handshake that reach those college-age students looking for jobs and really target them in a way that no other sort of website or resource does. And then we will use word of mouth because here in Spokane we have a really wide range of different outdoor programs and clubs and organizations and things like that. And so through word of mouth we're going to be able to reach people who are already interested and already involved in trip leading and have that background in outdoor trip leading. We are going to use a total of 5 different selection methods to make sure that we get the ideal candidate for the guide position. So first, we're going to use a written application that will consist of the cover letter and resume to get a broad understanding of why the applicant is interested in their prior job experience. This is by no means a holistic idea of what the candidate has to offer, but it does do a really good job at narrowing down the applicant pool to make sure that you're interviewing and giving the other tests to the correct applicants. Second, we're going to do a situational interview, which is a really great way to understand prior experience and have an understanding of how the applicant would react in certain situations. However, it can be biased, it has low validity, and it's kind of unreliable at times. Third, we're going to use a simulation and physical ability test to make sure that the job candidate can physically do the job that we are asking them to do. This can have disparate impact against those underrepresented in classes of minorities. However, we are going to use a really broad range of different selection methods to lower that disparate impact. Fourth, we are going to use a personality test to make sure that the candidate has a really great personality that is necessary for working with children. One of these personality traits that is really, really important is conscientiousness because this is dependability and responsibility, 2 of the most important traits of working with children. And then fifth, we're going to do an ineligibility test that is going to be a drug test to make sure that these candidates are not using drugs because that would be unsafe while guiding children. We've prepared a sample interview question to have you have a better understanding of what this situational interview would be like. So I'm going to read it off for you so we can read it together. The question would be, tell us about a time when you were leading an outdoor excursion and something didn't go as planned. What did you do, what happened, and how would you apply this? Now we have 3 different anchor points to make sure that no matter who is scoring the interview, they can all have a similar score and outcome at the end. So the worst answer would be, I've never done this. The kind of middle ground would say, I checked with the participant, they seem to be doing fine, and so we kept on going. And then the best answer that we would really ideally have from our candidate is, I checked with the participant and ran the safety checks needed based on the training I have received. I assessed the situation, found a needed solution, and responded accordingly by calling my boss to update them on the situation and communicating with the participant throughout the rest of the trip. All right, so like I said before, we have a few other sort of selection methods that I'd like to talk about a little bit more. So the first one is the simulation and physical ability test. Like I said before, this is a really good way to kind of get a good idea of what prior experience and skills a candidate has and how they can apply them to this job. However, it is necessary to be a little bit mindful because there can be disparate impact against classes with disabilities as well as other underrepresented minorities and things like that. We also will have the personality test, which will help us determine if this candidate will be a good fit for the company. However, it's really important to be mindful of the fact that personality doesn't always predict the performance of the candidate for the job. So we want to do this kind of as a side to make sure that if that candidate has all of those skill sets, they would also be a good fit for the company. And then the ineligibility test is really important when working with children because we want to make sure that the people we're choosing to lead these tours and these trips with our kids are not going to be using drugs. However, there are some legal ramifications with these tests, such as unreasonable search and seizure, as well as an invasion of privacy. So we need to be mindful that we're carrying them out in a legal way. And once again, there are a lot of legal ramifications that take place when using recruitment and selection methods. So we need to make sure that we are being aware of these legal ramifications as well as using a variety of methods so that we can cover all of our bases and make sure that we're doing all these things legally.
In terms of our compensation structure, the way that we're going to be scheduling our payment planning is through an equity theory pay structure. And the main thing with this is that we're going to try to be maintaining our organizational justice. And in terms of this, we want to match the perceptions of our employees with their pay. So the main thing that we're trying to do is make sure that our employees feel valued and that they're having a competitive rate. In terms of the actual rate we're going to be paying them, it's going to be $15 an hour. And this comes from ONET's calculations for the median of counselors in Washington State, with the lower end being $13.74. So we want to pay them higher than that to make sure that they feel valued. In terms of our compensation planning, also, the main thing is balancing the internal, external, and individual equity. So for this, we want to make sure that not only do our employees feel valued for the work they're doing, but we also want to make sure that they're valuing each other for the work that they're doing for our company. In addition to our flatline rate that we have for our central job holders, our guides, we want to have a slight hierarchical rate for our management. The main thing for this is that we want to have there be motivation for improvement and excellence in the work. So we want incentive for our employees to stay with the company and improve up our ladder. So by having a slight rate increase, we hope that this is going to be sufficient financial motivation for them to stay with us. In addition to this, supporting our organizational structure is the main thing our compensation structure is going to be planning to do. So having peer recognition, developing a productive workspace, as well as using our compensation structure as reinforcement for these two things, we hope that having this sort of structure is going to be the best way of enforcing our protocols for our employees. In terms of the benefits we're going to be offering our employees, we plan on having a lot of non-financial benefits. Including this, we want partnerships for discounts and memberships with yoga gyms, climbing gyms, and other athletic facilities we think would better our employees' work. So we want to have a lot of mission-driven engagement for our employees, and with this we want to have a lot of meaningful impact from their work. So we think having some of these non-financial benefits would do a good job of motivating them to get more engaged in the work. In terms of the financial, we want to have a scholarship program for our guides. As our central job holders are going to be mainly college students, we want to try to have some more financial incentives for them. We want company-sponsored trips, activities, and other training sessions. And this is, again, to sort of reinforce the idea that our employees are going to be shooting for excellence in the work that they do. As I mentioned, we're going to have a competitive rate of pay at $15 an hour, which is higher than the state average for counselors in a similar position of work. And this is, again, to show them that they feel valued in our company.
Hi, I'm Cooper McCoy, and I'm in charge of the Training and Development Department here at WYLD. So the way this works is once we have selected our candidates we want to work for our organization, we will have them complete a number of training and development programs that will help them develop the skills and techniques that they need in order to efficiently teach and guide the children in the outdoors. So our guides will already have prior experience with the outdoors, and these programs are designed to really help continue to practice and develop these skills that they already have and or will learn in order to lead the outdoor activities. And the way that we work here at WYLD is we'll have them do on-the-job training. So we'll place them into the different environments that they will be working in when they're here as guides, and they will be tasked simulations. And the purpose of these is we want to see how well they can do when completing these situations in the environment, but we're also working on developing their skills as well. And these skills can include biking, hiking, rafting, rock climbing, skiing, etc. And while we have a really significant output here in terms of really teaching these skills and techniques that they will need in order to be in the outdoors, our main focus is really focusing on the leadership and team development that we have here. So we will also have programs that will focus on teaching the guides team development and leadership skills, and that these will include team building exercises and team process training exercises. And basically what these do is that we'll also put our guides into different environments and scenarios where they must use the skills and techniques that they have learned and work together in order to complete the tasks that have been assigned to them. And these programs will also teach our guides leadership skills that they will then apply to the children who they will be guiding throughout the outdoors. So in terms of how we assess our employees here in terms of the training and development programs, these programs will be offered to our employees in our central jobs, so those will be our guides. And the way that this works is as soon as we hire these employees, they will begin the training programs that we require for them to complete before they can start working for us. And these programs will typically last between 3 to 5 weeks, and the minimum will be 3 weeks. And this depends on how they are individually doing. If they are really doing well in these programs, then they'll start right away. But they need a little time to develop their skills, particularly their leadership skills. We'll have them do the complete 5 weeks that they need in order to train. And they are assessed every week to see how they are developing. And again, we really hone in on the fact that we are looking for these leadership skills that they have and possess, because when they are working with the children, our main goal here is to have them learn these leadership skills that they will then use in their lives after they're done with WYLD. And the way that our guides are assessed is they're assessed through observation throughout the first couple weeks. So we'll see how they're doing in the different scenarios, different simulations that we've assigned for them. But at the end of the 3 to 5 weeks, we'll have them take both a written test and we'll have them take a physical test as well. And the written test will be a leadership personality test. And again, we're really looking for how they are doing well in these different scenarios with children, how they really handle all these different curveballs that might be thrown at them when they're going out, and just to see if they are really working well with responsibility in terms of taking care of these children that they will be assigned with. And then we'll have a physical scenario ability test. So again, throughout the week that they're there, we'll give the different simulations, we'll have them do team development exercises, really focusing on the fact that we want them to be here.
So as far as evaluating employee performance, our organization will be implementing a behavioral approach. As a company, we will be utilizing experiences of the WYLD guides, like examples of critical incidents and how the employees responded to those occurrences. So the reason that we decided to choose the BARS method was because we believe that it facilitates employee guidance and having them know what they're expected of, and it's very integral to employee feedback. So we would be using descriptive anchors. So for the example question that I gave previously, like an employee being faced with a critical incident and responding to it, so a 1 for that situation would be they have not encountered a situation like that, so we can't really rate them on that. A 2 would be that they handled the situation poorly. They weren't able to come to a clear solution regarding the incident. 3, they handled the situation fairly, but did not come to a conclusion as to how to repair and move forward. And a 4 would be they handled the situation well, and they were able to come to a clear and concise conclusion, understood by all those that played a role. And a 5 would be that they handled the situation with candor and responsibility. They were able to effectively communicate desired outcomes and problem solve quickly. They included all those that were involved and displayed gentle authority when it came to providing counsel and guidance. So for the structure of our performance appraisals, we want them to occur every 6 months because we believe that development and training and the education of the employees can be implemented, and then visible change can be seen and like improvements can be noticed during that period. We think that feedback is extremely important, and we want to give feedback after every excursion, so employees can like sit down and debrief, and we think that like peer feedback is extremely important too, so the guides can notice what one may be doing that works and like what somebody else may be doing that doesn't work, because each situation is extremely different, as they have different children, different excursions, different ways of handling incidents, and we think that like the employees can discuss ways in which the operation could have gone more smoothly, recognize behaviors from children and discuss those and how to move forward. As an organization, we chose to make these performance evaluation choices because we believe that it is integral to the mission and our values, to allow employees to have time, space, and freedom for self-evaluation and peer correction. By means of strategic alignment, we will optimize the resources and contributions of our employees, aligning them with the mission and values of our company. So for the development, coaching, and termination aspect of performance evaluation, we agreed that we first want to exhaust all of our options concerning development and coaching before we turn to termination as a resolution. So for development, we'd focus on fine-tuning an array of skills and behaviors that are needed for the position of a WYLD guide. So whether that be supplemental training, education of our KSAOs, or relearning the essential job functions and tasks. For coaching, we want to rely on correcting certain task-oriented functions, and a big one would be altering perceptive behavior. So whether that be training our employees in concerning ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences, or dealing with at-risk children. And for termination, we have a very strict set of rules when it comes to that. So if the employee exhibits behavior that puts the child's well-being in danger, if the employee exhibits insubordinate behavior and is not working collaboratively with other people or in upper management, and if the employee repeatedly exhibits an unwillingness for the work required by that position.
In terms of the safety, stress, and wellness of our employees, we have 4 major safety concerns which we think is going to stress out our employees and potentially give them strain which would degrade from their work. These major safety concerns are, number 1, performance pressure. We want to have a consistent aim for excellence in the work that we do, and we think that there may be pressure for our employees to always perform well. Task-induced stress includes job-related incidents that could cause tension for our employees. Working with kids and having large groups, it's bound to have incidents with these groups that could cause stress for them. In terms of our mission realization, we have a large impact on the community and individuals we were going to be interacting with. So we think that there may be potential stress in trying to realize the full length of our mission. In terms of the financial gain stressor, we are trying to pay a competitive rate, but there may be disincentive for our employees, given that there could be other lines of work that are more financially beneficial for them. Our business will work to reduce the stress and strainers faced by these 4 main safety concerns by implementing a variety of programs and offerings to our employees. First, we want to set clear and unambiguous goals for our employees to give them a lot of direction in the work they're going to do and how they're going to go about doing it. We want to encourage mindfulness in our employees, as we think it'll be a lot beneficial for their work that they're doing with the kids. So going to yoga, meditation classes, and other things like this, we think that this will be a main benefit for our employees. We want employee recognition from peers and management, so we want to set up a system in which your peers can give you critiques and also give you props for doing the job that you're doing. We want to cultivate a workplace environment that allows success throughout the entire company. So with this, we want management and guides all to be working together efficiently at all times. Engagement practices such as complaints, suggestions, and acknowledgements, as I mentioned before, will be instrumental in allowing our employees to feel valued and reduce the stress and strainers that they will be faced with.
So kind of going back into the reason why that you should invest in us is because we're a company that really provides benefits that other companies aren't providing. And our main target audience are kids of every socioeconomic status. And the main thing that we see here for not only our vision and our mission statement is we want to provide opportunities for every single child in Spokane. And because every child deserves to have these leadership skills they'll need in life, and we really don't see anybody based on any status or being lower than any other child. So we really want to focus on the fact that everybody deserves an opportunity here at WYLD, and with our guides, when we have a very healthy, productive work culture that we'll be providing for them, they will also be providing for these children as well.
It's an avocado. Sorry.